Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about Friday Night Smackdown from tonight. I want to get this recap out of the way, so let's get into Smackdown tonight. What's tonight? December 5th, 2025 edition of Smackdown. So this is a show dealt with some fallout from Survivor Series from last week. We also got the finals of the John Cena tournament. The last time is now. Last time's now. You can't see me. Time's now. To determine who will fight John Cena at Saturday night's main event. So here's a look at what they advertised for the show tonight. Gunther, LA Knight, U.S. title open challenge. Also tonight, Cody Rhodes, Speed, Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire, and Alexa Bliss versus Kairi Sane was some of the stuff that be advertised for the show tonight. So let's talk about everything that happened. I want to go over my final thoughts first of the show. Give my final word first before I go over the cards. Really, my thoughts of the show. So, Friday SmackDown had its highs and lows. The match with Cargill being too quick was the only major complaint for me this week. Like, other than that, I don't really have any major complaints, because better SmackDown than we normally get. Carmelo Hayes, good to see him get positive reactions tonight. Had a really good match with Dragunov. Ricky Saints or Oba Femi are going to face Cody Rhodes, which is going to be pretty fun. But everything else in the show I thought was pretty solid tonight, honestly. Like, I guess, and also they kind of protected him, with Ciampa interfering too. Hopefully his time is coming soon. Good to see. He's gotta be 2026. He's getting sober with the crowd. He's got to win a championship, man. At least to me. There's Carmelo Hayes. Sorry, I was blanking there for a minute. Ricky Saints or Oba Femi, but one of them will be wrestling Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event, which should be really fun. The opening bout between Dragunov and Hayes was just completely outstanding tonight. Carmelo Hayes getting more and more over with the crowd. Dragunov's a really damn good wrestler. Banger. That would have stolen the show if it had a clean ending, but it still stole the show, in my opinion. However, the main event with Gunther and Knight ended up being the biggest highlight of the night. Gunther looked as great as he always does, despite people saying he's boring. If you think he is, that's fine, but he's a pretty good professional wrestler. But LA Knight, though, looked more impressive than usual, which is really saying something since he was the loser. The show being booking by its two best matches helped open and close on a high note of the show. Other than Saturday night's main event, we have a long break between now and the Royal Rumble, so WWE has lots of time to build up potential winners for that. But I'm going to give the show actually a 7 out of 10 tonight. I really thought it was a strong show. The only major complaint I had was the Cargill match being too quick, because shocker, she can't really wrestle, so they have to have her in squash matches. It's not really a good thing for your champion. But yeah, it's kind of my thoughts on the show. I actually thought it was actually a good show. For the most part, there were some lows, but there were definitely some highs with the start and the finish of this one. So let's start with the opening segment of tonight's show. SmackDown opened with a video recapping the events of Survivor Series before we got to the usual shots of people walking backstage. Nick Aldis was shown telling Drew McIntyre shows up in his truck. He says he was still suspended and ordered him to leave, but Cody Rhodes attacked him in his truck. Drew drove off, so Rhodes marched to the way to the ring looking angry. He grabbed a mic and demanded Aldis reinstate McIntyre so he could get revenge for McIntyre invading his tour bus. The recap video, backstage stuff, and Rhodes promo all combined for roughly 10 minutes to open the show was the perfect amount of time, I thought, to sell this feud without having to go like 20 minutes. Cody was convincing with his rage, and McIntyre played his part well. Solid way to open the show with a little action right there. Next, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. So, Dragunov's run of open challenges continue. This week when he put the belt on the line against Carmelo Hayes. Most of the people the Mad Dragon has faced in these open challenges have not felt like they had a chance to beat him. Hayes is the first one who's had success over him in the past, so create a more interesting match than the others. Not saying the others are bad, they've been pretty good, and every match has been pretty good with Dragunov. These are two guys who are both great at what they do, so having him in the first match was practically guaranteed to start the show off on a really good high note, I thought. I was hoping Hayes would win the championship here, honestly, but I think he'll win something eventually. But there was a little bit of a moment you thought, oh, he's going to win the championship. Unfortunately, Tommaso Ciampa tripped him on the top rope while the ref was distracted, allowing the champion to hit the finisher once again to retain. Once Dragunov found out what happened, he had a crazed look in his eye. He's clearly going to take his anger on Ciampa once they finally face off, whenever the hell that happens. But yeah, this was a very good way to start the show. WWE's really trying to make the Jackass nickname stick for Ciampa. Hayes used it backstage when he told Ciampa he would have to wait for his U.S. title shot because he was up next. Michael Cole also referenced a trio of matches these two had in NXT. But yeah, this was great. There were some great spots as well. This was a great start to open. Alexa Bliss versus Kairi Sane. So Bliss battled Sane in the second match of the show. This was a decent match, I guess. They didn't overstay its welcome, though. The attack by Legend and Nia adds another duo to the tag title feud, so they may have been teammates for War Games, but Asuka and Sane didn't stop them from fighting. And I mean, this was okay. And Alexa Bliss defeated Kairi Sane. Jay Cargill versus Alba Fire. What was easily the most predictable outcome of the night. With this being said, though, Cargill's on her first run as world champion, while Alba Fire just lost to Hale in NXT. They're simply at the same level right now. That being said, Alba Fire's a great wrestler, has done a lot to put over other talent. She was mad that the champ was paying more attention to Chelsea Green than to her, so she hit a drop kick. Kiana and Julia showed up at ringside in the attack ring, diving her away from the ring. Fire was distracted, which allowed Jay to hit a spine buster, butt kick, and Jay for the win. This was too short to be anything special, and it certainly didn't do much to help her reign as champion. She doesn't need squash wins. You need good performances against worthy challengers. If she's just squashing people every week, it's not going to help. Cargill isn't also getting enough heat. She should be the most beloved or hated person on the roster. It doesn't feel like either one. Just no heat. Gunther versus LA Knight. So before that, Solo Sikoa and the MFT gave a promo focusing on the Wyatts. This led to the Wyatts coming off for a standoff that turned into a fight. Tala Tonga and Eric Rowan had the biggest exchange as the segment ended. The main event of this week's show, though, saw LA Knight. Yeah. The winner facing John Cena at Saturday night's main event. They had the last 20 minutes of the show to work, so they had enough time to do a lot while still taking time to sell. This is one of Knight's best matches in quite some time, and another in a long line of great Gunther performances, even though the result felt predictable. You know who was winning this tournament as soon as it was announced. But they did a good job making it seem like either guy might win at different points. Knight even hit his finisher, but Gunther got his foot on the bottom rope to break the count. This was probably the best match of the tournament to me, which is exactly how it should be after putting up a good fight. They had LA Knight succumb to a submission and tapped out. Would like to not see him get tapped out, but it is what it is. Having Gunther's old music, though, feels so right. Just hearing his music. But yeah, this was a great matches, I thought, to open the show and to close the show, in my opinion. But Gunther and John Cena set with one major promise from Gunther. Carmelo Hayes shined again, and Oba Femi and Ricky Saints have a huge opportunity on December 13th. A huge opportunity to face Cody Rhodes. But there was another match announced next week, I believe. Another thing announced is Bayley and Sol Rocca are facing off at Saturday night's main event. That should be a good match. But yeah, that's really all to say for Smackdown, honestly. So leave a like, come subscribe for more. Till next time, Alkalite, peace, and leave your thoughts in the comments below.